This video contains spoilers for Persona 4. Viewer discretion is advised. As I mentioned in my previous Persona 4 video, my waifu is not actually Rise, but is kanji-kun. Today's video is going to touch on gender norms, so I ask that even if you disagree, you don't attack anyone in the comments. We're going to look at it from a post-secondary lens in a way that it's just a forum for discussion rather than arguments or accusing anyone of being too left or too right. And real quick before we get started, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support me, the link is in the description. This helps me out a great deal, but this is, as always, completely optional. Despite Kanji's rough interior, he is the absolute sweetheart of the group. However, he's also the one who continuously struggles with his identity throughout the game. Now, I understand that the Persona series hasn't always handled LGBTQ issues very well, and I'm not going to say that doesn't bother me. It obviously does. You can love a thing and still question problematic aspects of it. It's how we grow and evolve. However, I do not think that Persona did a bait and switch with Kanji because they were too uncomfortable making a character be gay, and instead matched him with a girl. I actually think the commentary Atlas made was how society equates feminine or masculine traits with sexuality, which is quite toxic in and of itself. I'm going to share a quote from Brene Brown, and it's a bit long, but I think it's important.
For men, shame is not a bunch of competing, conflicting expectations. Shame is one. Do not be perceived as what? Weak. I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study, and it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, "I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men." And I said, "I don't study men." And he said, "That's convenient." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters?" I said, "Yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down." When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else.
And I think this is the concept that accurately pegs why Kanji struggles with his relationship with women throughout the game. It's not simply that he's scared of them because he doesn't want to be with them. He's scared of them because he doesn't meet their standards of what is male enough. He's a man who sews, who loves his mother, who likes cute things, who doesn't have a rampant sex drive that men are supposed to have. And yet, in spite of this, or perhaps because of this, he takes down an entire biker gang by himself. Kanji struggles with the fact that he isn't just one way or the other, and is aware of the societal cycle of femininity equals bad, therefore masculinity equals good. This hurts everyone. Men typically have high rates of suicide because they aren't able to express their emotions as well. They are typically the party in a breakup that hurts the most because their partner tends to be the only one they share emotions with. And that way too, it's important that you is able to forge these bonds with other males in the group, especially Kanji. Kanji doesn't like being viewed as gay or weak because of his traits that are more traditionally feminine, but he also doesn't want to condemn the things that gives him joy. Much like Rise, his struggle is coming to terms with how some may see him, but not letting that impede him. It is the truth to other people, but not the only truth. Going back to my analysis of the contract, I talked about Eric Berne's concept of transactional analysis, and how life is not a zero-sum game. Kanji is able to teach the protagonist how to open up, express emotion, and not simply be the best man, or the man, best exemplified through a summer work sequence in the anime. I'd like to think that he is able to open up to his uncle because of his relationship with Kanji, but I admit I may be reading too much into that one. Now, is it problematic that Kanji's sexuality is questioned based on how he acts? Yes, absolutely. And Kanji is so aware of this that he defines his inner self as this. Even though he doesn't show any sexual attraction to the male characters in the game, he's still afraid that he may be gay because of his feminine features. And for us as an audience to assume that he is, and that Alice didn't simply want a gay character is close-minded in itself. And I don't mean that in a way where I'm attacking anyone. I thought the same way too while playing through the game until I really sat down and thought about it. His struggle is with his identity, not his sexuality, but society tells us that these are intrinsically tied. It is a compelling story, seeing a man struggle with these gender norms where he's cisgender and straight. The more we talk about these things, the happier and more accepting we can be of others. At the end of the day, stereotypes have the potential of hurting everyone. Our negative view of feminine features hurts everyone, not just women. And as a last note in a video that will probably attract trolls, that is what feminism is actually about. It's not just women want more power, it's feminine features are not negative. It allows men to not have to fit into their ideal role either. It opens avenues for discussion and understanding. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and if you have something to add, feel free to leave it in the comments. I look forward to hearing your opinions.